Hello, everyone, and welcome to this fine new episode of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, episode 156, streamed live on January the 11th, 2025. It said 2024 in the notes, but we know better. My name is Alfred, and joining me tonight are...
Happy New Year!
And...
Marius with brain sick faults.
Very nice. Very nice. Good to see you again. And let's start off this fine new episode with a little bit of a news about Noble. Just a little heads up about the pre-release that we've released over the last few weeks that you can get for, now already on pretty much any device that is supported by Focal. Pretty much. But it's not stable. And we're also, because it's not stable, very important, we are still waiting for a solution to install apps from the OpenStore or applications at all without a terminal. So you can right now install clicks from the terminal with the click install command. Needs to be root, needs to be set to the user fadlet, and also needs unallowed apps to be authenticated so that you can get through from an installation without the OpenStore. But with that, it should be doable to get at least some applications running. But of course, a proper fix is still required. And yeah, I personally, though, saying this for myself, having worked on mini browser for Noble already, I can tell building the thing works and installing it on a device also works nowadays. Running it on the device. So yeah, just maybe for the app developers, it shouldn't hinder you from doing your stuff, so to say.
Yeah, I would also all the hardware stuff is working now, so everything is working. Of course, there is bugs, but there is a lot less than I think people think there is, because it is, except for apps, it is pretty much there.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. To the point where I have it running on my Fairphone 4 and the Fairphone 5, if I remember correctly. And we're slowly figuring out more and more bugs to fix. And up until a few days ago, look at that. There's a Fairphone 5. There we have it.
Yes, this is my daily. This is my daily driver, actually. So
I believe someone wanted to show a chat thing and misclicked. Could that be?
What?
Nope. Anyhow, no. Well, you'll see it later in the recording. Anyhow, let's go to GitLab, to the GitLab news real quick, if I find it actually. Where is it? There it is. We have a few merge requests that have landed over the last or a little bit over 2 weeks now, since we've skipped a few opportunities to do a Q&A. First and foremost, another very important thing that I would like to mention, we have reduced the size of the image just a tiny little bit, to the point where Snapd is now shipped by default, but Evolution data servers or data services, Evolution data server is now built without the WebKit GTK dependency, which means that we're saving around 111 or 117 megabytes of space due to not shipping WebKit GTK anymore. And that allows us to have a little bit of headroom for more things to come. And the Snapd enablement also costs a little bit of storage, but that's to be expected. It works at least. And also, just as you notice now, Snapd is also enabled by default and shipped with Ubuntu Touch based on 2404. So
we have some question about it. Save it for later, just a bit.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, then we'll keep it for later. What else do we have? We have a little bit of. I don't want to get too much into technical details. But what we've also done is take Ophono, and thanks to Rachanan for this one. He's gone through a list of CVEs and patched Ophono in the various builds that we ship or in the various source forms that we ship, is now shipping patches for a bunch of CVEs that have been discovered and patched upstream already. So ours should be a little bit more secure now, and that's for Noble and for Focal. So should we release something based on Focal, then, and which I might guess will happen, I don't know, it will also include those. So what else do we have? We've also mentioning almost all Focal devices. We also have the Xiaomi Mi 6 Sagit, which has been added to 2004, which basically now ships an installable image through the installer, from the Ubuntu installer. And
Also, just to mention that all channels that are on 2004 is also mirrored on 2404.
yeah. So there are also a little bit of changes for accommodating for a newer Bluetooth module for Pulse Audio, for PA module changes, Bluetooth module changes in Pulse Audio 16.1 in the session. We have also introduced Qt zebra crossing into the main SDK libraries. It used to be shipped in Focal already for the QR code reader, but it wasn't a quote-unquote stable or reliably always there type of thing. It just happens to be there, but it's now an officially supported public API that app developers can use to inspect QR codes and create QR codes so that they can exchange data through those QR code types of things. I think that sounds already like a good roundup for the most non-technical things. What do you think?
Yeah, seems good for me. Marius, do you have anything to add to the Noble development, maybe?
Yeah, so a lot of work has, like, if you have been following the Noble channel, you will see that from December to now, the development really has speed up, and it really went from 0 to 100 real quick, and this is also partly due to that mostly all the packages are already in Debian, which makes it easier for us, which makes them build there easier. But also there's a lot more hands now on it, both paid and the contributions. So that's amazing to see that we can manage to go this fast. And yeah, and now we are in a point where pretty much everything is working except OpenStore and Click support. Once we have that, we are pretty much heading for release.
Well, let's not go that route too quickly.
Yeah, not too quick.
Let's not say too much right now, but yeah, basically our goal is to release as quickly as possible, and we might also have a little bit of what we've discussed yesterday in the development sync was tagging at May, so that we have a 2505 for Ubuntu Touch based on mobile, and ensuring that we get everything through that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely doable with what we have now.
Right.
Yeah. Still some little bugs from what I can see, but I will need to report them and to see if it's reproducible or if it's just on my installation because I messed something up. But yeah, for example, I cannot change the password yet. Or
that's known.
Yeah. Okay. So small issues like this, it won't be released with that. But yeah. Hopefully we can solve things quickly. So pretty good start for 2025. So yeah, it's and I don't want to spoil either because it's not totally done. But we will probably have soon enough, maybe for the next Q&A, we will have a new partner. So that's quite interesting and quite exciting for me. And yeah, hopefully I will be able to tell everything next time.
Also,
Did
one
you-
nice thing. Yeah, also one nice thing that's probably comes to next Q&A. It's Mirror 2 on phones. This is something
Oh.
else. It's something that I've been working on. It's already kind of working, but it's also kind of not working at the same time. Like it works, but it crashes. So it's yeah, but we are getting there.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Yeah, let's head to the OpenStore.
Yes, please.
So we have a bunch of updates because it's been almost a month now since the last Q&A. So I won't bother you with the list of all updated apps, but I want to give a shout out to Lionel Duboeuf, to Naimia, to John Cybership, to Synchronix Technologies, Lothar Ketterer, Daniel Frost, and Carlos Nuna, Joseph Milch, and FP Fabi. Those developers updated their apps, and thank you for your continuous support of your Ubuntu Touch and maintaining your applications. That's really important. It's not develop, push it, and then forget it. We need to have people to maintain those apps to keep the quality up. But we have also a bunch of new applications. First one being UPower Indicator. It's a fork from the previous one by Pavlo Rudi. Thank you for that. This allows you to have in the notification bar to have information on the power consumption and power settings, the temperature of the battery, and etc. So that's a neat app to have for those that are interested in such information. Quick warning, this application requires full system access, so be aware of that. Yeah, but it's nice to have, and it was existing on the previous version, but the developer didn't update it, so Pavlo made the port to Focal. We have also Dicenomicon from John Cybership. So it's a simple dice roller. So you set up your dices and then you can roll them. Just a quick info for John, if you want to add some feature, maybe a sum at the bottom would be nice to have for some gameplay. But yeah, very nice, very simple. It's now at least I know two dice roller apps, so that's good to have for players. We have also CineWeb, I think, because Carlos Nuno already made several web applications. I think this is a web application to connect to Cine. It looks fully working, so that's great. So good for people that want to just have access to their Matrix client on the go without installing the full app, or because the full app doesn't have all the features they require. So yeah, thanks Carlos for this app. We also have Diaporama. Diaporama allows you, as the name implies, to create a slideshow with your picture on your phone. Be aware that it has the read picture file, so it has full access to your picture folder. So not only via the Content Hub, but it asks access to the full picture folder. So it's a new app developed by Vlad Nurki. So yeah, thanks a lot for this app. So it's interesting to be able to create those slideshow. Didn't try it yet, but maybe you can download them. Hopefully you can, or at least it will be a nice feature to add in the future. And we have the beloved text racer. I know it has been in the work for a long time. This is a port to Focal. The app existed in Xenile, but it took some time to port it to Focal, and so thanks my
Not my eye.
ABMYI for this app, and thanks Xnilo for helping to port to Focal. Yeah, and that rounds things up for the app this week.
Very nice, good list, and I very much enjoyed Tux Racer to be there again. Just because games are also cool, at least when you got them on Ubuntu Touch.
Yeah, many developers became developers because of games.
Yeah, possibly.
Yep.
All right. Shall we head over to the sponsors next?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. The whole UI here has moved around, and we don't even know where the whole things are. There it is. Thanks again to the sponsors, including Smooth, Voila, Pine64, OneStein, DigitalOcean, Netlify, Udo Community Association, Private Internet Access, Gardner and Associates Consulting Inc., Tixia, GitLab, Cloudrun, CodeLutin, and Gandhi.net. Thanks everyone for helping us stay afloat and providing what we need in order to fulfill our mission. And we also, next to the sponsors, have our wonderful list of patrons. We don't know who's going to pick them this time, right?
I can do that.
Okay, sure.
It seems a long time since I didn't done that. I wasn't there the last time.
Yeah.
So thank you, Aciel, Conspy, Daniel Franchak, Enik, Heather Ellsworth, Jose Angel Escura, JT, Kenneth Drew, Linus Rune, Luigi 311, Marty McFly Jr., Michael Kellner, Mr. T 10,001. Yeah, 10,001. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how to count. Omegas, PK, Robin Hood, Rondarius, Spendia Hose, Stephen Granger, Taffitson, and Will Atwood. Thank you all for your contribution. This is highly appreciated. And yeah, I said that we will start to list also, or to shout some lesser quote unquote contributors with a smaller amount every time, because we have a lot of them and we want to give also a shout out to them personally. I didn't do this because today I was late. So hopefully I will prepare the list for next time, and we will add to the most contributor to those ones that gave a substantial amount of money. Thank you very much. We will add also some list of random people from the rest of donators. So if you want to donate to the foundation, you can head to ubpost.com/donate. You can donate via Patreon, LiberaPay, via SEPA wire transfer. We probably have a lot of other options, but I don't know everyone by heart. So go to this page and you will have your information there. Also, there's another way to donate. It's to buy merch like this sweater. So you can go also to ubpost.com/shop. I think I tested the URL without the EN and I think it works. But I will do that again and update. So yeah, thanks everyone for your support. And yeah, that's also important to spread the word around. That's why the merch shop is also something important. Thank you very much.
There we go. All right. So the questions from the forums are next, and let's start with one from Jan Ops 79. With the upcoming new release of Ubuntu Touch, according to the GitLab.com page, merge request Snap will be enabled. Does this mean that the app Snapstore is not necessary anymore, or is that app then to go to the go-to app to use Snaps? Also, with this enabled, it won't break the mail app anymore, like opening an attachment, etc. All right, so there are three questions. The first one, Snapstore has not been intended to stick around for any longer than Focal. I might, considering that we don't have a plan forward with the OpenStore bringing Snaps into the mix, nothing concrete at least. We have ideas, but nothing concrete. And I might as well just create or turn Snapstore into only the installer for apps and call it a day. But that doesn't justify it like taking it out of the grave, so to say, and keeping it alive for no reason. If we can have a solution with the OpenStore or with the OpenStore app at least to install Snaps, then that would be better, in my opinion, because we would at least have one app to install all the things you want to have on your phone, not two. And also Snapstore wouldn't be a default offering in the operating system. So yeah. But Snaps do install via the terminal already. They don't require a Snapstore. You can do a sudo snap install from the terminal already, and it should work. And also, what I don't understand the last question. Also, with this enabled, it won't break the mail app anymore, like opening an attachment. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, didn't understand this part of the question as well, because in my experience, it doesn't break anything. But
No.
There is a content hub bug that needs to be looked at, where some applications do not provide the content hub integration anymore. So, for example, the opening. One example that I have is that when I use teleports and I want to open it with document viewer, I have to go through file manager to then open it again. So there is a bug there. I have been looking at it, but it's confusing.
Yeah, that should not have anything to do with Snaps, in short. So yeah.
No.
All right. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah, from Domu BPKM. Will it be a last Focal OTA update?
As far as I'm aware, at least with the fact that we still have a few contributions trickling down to Focal, I can safely assume that we still want to release at least one Focal update. Maybe just one Focal update, because Noble is really not that far away anymore. It's not as near as some might want to hope or have, but it's not that far away either. And I guess so. So I don't think there's anything standing in the way for a last Focal update, and it's also working pretty well enough that we can wait those additional few months in order to have a fully stable Noble release and roll with that afterwards, right?
Yeah.
One thing that might come to actually a Focal update is VoLTE, since that now that Nikita has mostly fixed the issues on MediaTek, I think that one can come in a release, but yeah, as nothing concrete yet.
Right.
Yeah, and we've seen that a lot of people stayed in Xenile because it worked for them, and they didn't want to try to break their device until they are 100% sure that it will work. But there was also friction because applications needed to be updated, or you needed to delete them and reinstall them. So people would lost their configuration, and they didn't want that. So there was some friction moving from Xenia to Focal. Hopefully, it will be less from Focal to Noble. But I guess some people will want to just wait a couple of months until being sure that it was fully supported and well established and stable. So yeah, I think a version of a new last OTA of Focal would be great.
I agree. All right. Last question from the forums. If nobody else comes up with a question during live chat, this might be a quick one this time around. Christatos asks, according to the question by Don UBPKM, will the milestones be updated to the actual release schedule? These dates and milestones are outdated, but in earlier days, it was a nice place to look at which OTA will land at approximately what time. Maybe we should do that. Yes, that sounds very reasonable. But I'm not very sure how much of. I mean, I personally, when I contribute changes to Ubuntu Touch, I don't necessarily check the milestones myself because I'm not the only authority on this one. Someone else might also want to say something about it landing earlier or later, which opens discussions. So I'm not really sure if the milestones are actually used properly like that right now by everybody. They might be to some degree, but not completely. And yeah, so we could check that out. We surely should check that.
Yeah,
And also-
everything that can improve coordination of people would be nice, but if it goes against the developers and they don't use it or they don't care, it won't happen.
Also, it's really hard for us to set a concrete date since we are relying on volunteer contributions. So that's also a little bit hard to do.
Yeah, also that, and I'm guilty of that as well because yeah, some things I could have done earlier, but yeah, life happened, and yeah, some things got postponed for a couple of days. So yeah, things switch. It was the last question, but I think I spotted one in the chat that I wanted to answer. Yeah, this one by Christopher. I won't try to mispronounce this name because I will make a huge carnage.
It's Swedish.
Isn't it about time that Ubuntu Touch make a crowdfunding page to create a tablet and a phone that offers open specifications similar to what Yola did with theirs? In my humble opinion, I think it would be a bad idea because it's already hard to maintain the operating system. There's also, in a separate way, there's the porting activity, and it's really hard to do. With a campaign involving this kind of amount of money, it will be really, really difficult to achieve. It's really hard for people to make a new device, and I don't think we can do better than Pine did and others did before. I think it's best for us to stay with trying to get partnerships with manufacturers, and like we do with Fairphone, with VoLTE. I think that's the way to go. We need more partners on this front for sure to have a larger diversity of devices. But yeah, it's too risky for us. It didn't work for Canonical, so I don't think we can do that.
Well, it's flattering. I mean, it's flattering that we're mentioned in one breath with Yola, in the same vein here. But remember that Yola also with the tablet had to postpone a few things and didn't deliver, and this was just, or it was hard to deliver for them for obvious reasons. So yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, I also think that the Yola tablet wasn't that successful either because they didn't do it again.
Right. Yeah. I only know I have mine, so let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I see there is some questions about 4G VoLTE. I kind of answered them about the next OTA, but that's really the status. And for VoLTE on Qualcomm, there is still requiring a lot more work. So that probably won't be in the next OTA, but we will see what happens. Yeah, I know it is kind of an urgency to get VoLTE out. We know that, and now in 2025, a lot more countries is going to shut down 3G and 2G, so it is getting a lot more pressing. For example, Norway will shut it down in the end of this year.
Right. Yeah, it's been a long multi-year effort. You know that, we know that, and Mario's having hair now makes me wonder how he didn't rip it out in the first place during the whole voice over LTE enablement.
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, so what I would like to clarify here, because I see this in chat, we're not after people's money for the sake of their money. You might sound a little bit disappointed now, but rest assured, we try our best here. And it is hard to play with black boxes where you cannot easily figure out what is happening with the voice of LTE implementation. Us not having access to the sources of those vendors makes not us to be the bad people. It's them. So what should we do?
Yeah, VoLTE is just horrible to work with. It's a standard that no one follows. Everyone makes their own standard, and it needs a config file pretty much for every carrier in the world, which is annoying. And some carriers even block devices, and some only whitelist devices.
Yeah.
So it is.
For example, I cannot, with my own Pixel 3a, I cannot get voice of LTE with that working because my provider is not giving me a voice of LTE configuration with that. So I will not be able to maintain this any further unless someone from the US, and we have asked multiple times for people in the US to help us, and we have not received the help, and we're the only ones doing it. Mario, and I'm not counting myself into that mix, to be honest. I'm just an outsider in that topic. People like Not Kid and Marius, they have had their fair share of involvement with that, and we can't just make it appear out of nowhere. It needs time and effort to be spent, and we can't help you with that. I'm sorry.
It is ridiculously hard. I will say that. We are getting to a point where we are learning as we go, because it is a black box, and the only way of really learning is to poke around. And we are getting to a point now that we have a great understanding of how this works. But we also have devices which, like for example, Samsung, which is the Exynos line, and also the Tensor from Google. Those will probably not work in the beginning until we have something that's software only, because that is just implemented in software. So that's also, yeah. I also see comment that hire a coder, and some of us, that's also hard because we are not, we are only relying on donations. So if people would donate, that could work, but we then need a lot more because it is really expensive.
The matter of the reality here is that the reason why we have the situation the way it is right now is because there are reasons. I'm not pointing at this particular reason. I'm saying there are reasons. There are many missed contributions. There are many things happening in our daily lives as being volunteers, and we're trying our best still. But yeah, you would have to give us a break here for sure. And I think with that, I think we can call it a day. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm passing the last comments on the chat, but I don't see any other question. No. No.
I think that's about it.
Yeah. All right then.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to just show this real quick.
Yeah.
What the Ubiport's keyring, and it's awesome, really cool. Yeah, that also helps us out by buying those.
Yeah, and it spreads the word around. When I show up at work with my Ubiport sweater, then people ask me about it. And
yeah,
I was at an event with colleagues, an after-work event, and people say, "Yeah, it's a Ubuntu Touch guy." And someone came to me and said, "Yeah, Ubuntu Touch, it's still working. Yeah, it's still okay. It's still working." He asked me if the sweater was an old one that I didn't use a lot. I said, no, it's a recent one because the foundation is still here, and I explained everything, and he might try to contribute because he's a developer. So yeah, it helps. Everything helps. So merch, important. And I don't have my bottle here, but I have also stickers on my bottle to spread the word.
Yes. All right. So I think it was a pretty good episode, all things considered. It's also a very short one, which leaves us for a little bit more time for ourselves. Maybe have a beer afterwards. And yeah, I hope you will also enjoy your time off after this Q&A. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's see each other the next time, hopefully in 2 weeks.
Just I want to just jump quickly on just the chat happening right now. Firefly 55X asks, why is it hard? Because it simply says hire coders, and before that it says, okay, he's been donating for years, not more, not no more, but no answers, pretty much given the middle finger to everyone in the US that rely on 5G. Sorry you think that way, but it's hard because there's no documentation about it. The network don't share their information with us. We are a very small team without a lot of resources, and even if people are donating, they are not donating in a way we can hire someone full-time. I mean, if I'm a freelancer, I think the donation, the average donation in a year covers maybe 2 weeks of my work. So the time I give it free because I don't want to be paid for my work at Ubiports. And now that I'm on the board, I can't as well. Yeah, the donation doesn't cover what would be. It should be a 20 people, 40 people team to work full time to have things work properly in a way people understand or would expect. And that's on the really lower side of things. It's really, in the best case, it will be 200 people, not 20. But we don't have that.
I have the feeling that whatever you're saying is not going to land where you want it to be. We've made our stance clear. They have made their stance clear, and it seems like we're talking past each other.
Yeah. I also want to say that no one has done this before.
And also something from my side, Lineage OS has it working probably by now because it's Android and not a GNU/Linux system.
Yeah, it's Android. It already works with the API and what Google makes. But really, what makes it hard is because Google and Apple made it really hard. And that is done for a very specific reason, to kill off any competition.
But if you want to create a crowdsource thing to hire people to contribute, and feel free to do it.
Yeah.
We will accept any contribution, of course. Yeah, this is an open source project, and it would be great for us to have it. But it's too much time for us to manage this kind of crowdsourcing.
All right. Okay, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see each other the next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Awkward bye. Who's pushing the button?
I am.